Welcome to your SEC Championship edition of Head to Head. We've got Auburn, we've got Georgia, and a rematch, the 7th rematch since 1992, the first rematch since 2010. I'm Lauren Sisler.
And I'm Kevin Scarbinsky. It's the Deep South's oldest rivalry in the Deep South's newest playground, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It should be a blast.
Woo! Let's go. And Kevin, oh, what fun it is going to be. I am so excited to see this atmosphere. The first time both of these teams will be playing in this new stadium. It's going to be awesome. But when you look back a few weeks ago when Auburn beat Georgia, they did it handily, as Gus Malzahn has said. And one thing you point to, Kerryon Johnson was astronomical in his yards. 233 yards from the line of scrimmage, the most since Cadillac Williams back in 2001 allowed by a Georgia team. Number one. Number two, dominated line of scrimmage. Number three, Stidham. He has proven to really develop as a quarterback. He's the quarterback that this Auburn team hoped he would be. He had outstanding numbers, and what really impressed me was his ability to get the ball down the field on third down conversions. That was huge for them against Alabama. It was huge for them against Georgia, and he's really, obviously, that's part of the protection of the offensive line, but I think that will really play a big factor in this football game. But, of course, the mind's on many. We go back to Kerryon Johnson. Will he be available for this football game? I say yes, but in a very limited capacity.
That's what we don't know. I don't know that Auburn knows at the moment how effective he can be. He's going to be out there. I think that's pretty clear. He will be in uniform. He will play. How many snaps can he take? How many hits can he take? How effective can he be? Do they target him less than usual? Do they mix in Cam Martin more than usual? That's what we don't know. What we do know, though, is there is this myth out there, Lauren, that you can't beat a team twice in 1 year, or it's very difficult to beat a team twice in the same season. No, it is not. And the SEC Championship game has proven that. As you said, we've had 6 prior rematches in the SEC Championship game. Well, guess what? In 5 of the 6, the team that won the regular season game also won the SEC Championship game.
Interesting
and
nugget.
Twice, Auburn completed the sweep. They did it to Tennessee in 2004. They did it to South Carolina in 2010. So let's throw that myth out the window. This is a game, a standalone game. It is a championship game. It is a playoff game because the winner is headed to the college football playoff. So everything on the line, the better team usually wins the SEC championship game. And for the last 8 years, the better team has been the SEC West champion. This year, that's Auburn.
Okay, Kevin, as we get into our predictions, I think one thing people are pointing to, the home field advantage that Auburn had in that game 3 weeks ago. Yes, it was loud. Jordan-Hare has been exceptional this season. Auburn winning all their games at home this season. Of course, that's a big factor. But as we talked about before, going into this new stadium environment, Auburn fans are going to travel. They've shown us that all season long. They're going to travel. Yes, Georgia fans, I think, have gotten a little bit longer to plan this trip since they didn't play last week, or they knew that they were clinched for the SEC East. But I certainly think that Auburn's still going to go in here, put this thing away. I think that, again, you have a lot of experience on both sides of the football for this Auburn team, whereas you have Jake Fromm at quarterback. He's not quite the quarterback, is not quite developed, and I think that, he got a little shaken in that game against against Auburn earlier in the season. I think that, still is going to play into the experience level of him as a quarterback. So my prediction is Auburn will win this one 21-17.
I think people have forgotten how thoroughly Auburn dominated Georgia. And as you said, yes, it was in Jordan-Hare Stadium. And yes, that was an amazing atmosphere that afternoon. But this is not in Athens. This is not between the hedges. This is a semi-neutral site. Yeah, it's across the Georgia state line. But Auburn practically lives across the Georgia state line, especially in recruiting.
What, it's like an hour and a half, 2-hour drive for them?
It's nothing. It's an easy trip, obviously, from Auburn up the interstate to get to Atlanta. There will be plenty of Auburn fans in the stands. So negate that alleged Georgia advantage and go back to the football teams. Yes, Kerryon Johnson has been huge for the Tigers down the stretch. He has been one of the best players in college football. He may show up on my Heisman ballot in a week or so.
All right.
And we don't know how effective he's going to be. But what we're also discounting is how good Jarrett Stidham has become. It was an absolute quarterback mismatch the first time between these teams. And that's not a knock against Jake Fromm, but he looked very much like a freshman in that game. And the Auburn defense is intact. The Auburn defense is going to be in Atlanta. Guys like Jeffrey Holland are going to be chasing Jake Fromm again.
Those guys have not let off the gas all season long.
And this is, look, Georgia had a great season. Kudos to Kirby Smart and everyone on that staff, everyone on that roster. They are still Alabama light. They are not Alabama. And Alabama wasn't Alabama because of Auburn last week. For all those reasons, and going back to the first game, again, one stat jumps out at me from that first game. Auburn had 488 yards of total offense against Georgia. Georgia had 230 against Auburn. That is a huge mismatch that even a limited Kerryon Johnson is not going to allow Georgia to make up. Auburn will win this game. It won't be close to the final buzzer. It'll be something on the order of 30-20.